Welcome back to The Gloves Are Off. We continue on with Dump and Change. The first one, I can't even get their attention. The first topic is trash talk. A little bit of an incident last night. Flyers-Rangers game. Wade Simmons apparently said a derogatory comment to Sean Avery.
Oh, gee, too bad.
I know, but it was a homophobic slur. We all remember the banana incident with Wade Simmons. I don't know why you're laughing. But Sean Avery calls him out after, and Simmons says, oh, you know, I can't remember what I said. But you got to remember, the Sean Avery speaking out about the, you know, same-sex marriage, Wayne Simmons just coming out of a situation where something inappropriate was done to him.
Avery started it. Must have.
Yeah, but
obviously.
You think that's the only point who started it?
Well, look at him. The guy will do anything to get under any player's skin. So he probably brought up the whole banana incident.
You think, wow.
Probably. It's Sean Avery.
You know what? We have to talk about it, but it's 2 minutes of my life that I don't really want to talk about Sean Avery, but we will.
You could dump it, you know.
No, I really did, because there's nothing good to say about him. He's a comedy. To me, he's just this guy that's bigger than anyone in the world.
Yeah, but Brian, he also, like, Simmons wanted to drop him with him, and Avery drew the penalty. Like, he almost played it smart. Now, there's two sides of this. One, that he said it on purpose, which I don't really think was the case. Or the other side of it is, which it was just the heat of the moment and it came out. But do you still think that he, you know, should he still have said it? Like, of all the words that you can say, you got to pick that one?
No, but at the same time, when you're emotional and your tempers are flaring, you're gonna say things that you'll regret. And
I can't believe though that we even go. I remember Chris Nyland and I in the penalty box. Because
he spent so much time.
Yeah, well, we fought each other so much time, and he said some comment. Next thing, it was in the Boston Globe the next day.
Yeah.
And it was like, I came back and said something like, oh, yeah, well, you're so ugly, who'd marry you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, they made a big deal of it. My point here is we get so, like, if you use a racial slur, I have a major issue with that. All is equal when you're on the ice.
Well, what's the difference between the racial slur and the homophobic slur? Like, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but that's my point. Wade Simmons is just coming off an incident where he was personally offended, and then he's going to go and use a term, which he's got to know.
You know what? There is no difference, but to get it onto TV and to get it into the press and is something like, oh my God, like Avery, really?
Okay.
You've got to bring this to that. I mean, you know what? I can think of a lot of words to describe you that probably wouldn't. What are you going to go cry to the press every time? Because
so you think they should have just left it out of the media? Avery shouldn't have made the post-game
comment. You'd be amazed at what players say to each other on the ice, and nobody says that.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? You know what? We're talking about him. He's got more minutes on press.
Okay. We will move on then. Speaking of minutes, Tony Romo was able to log some serious time in the game last night. He wore a Kevlar vest. Which, I'm sorry, last weekend I called it no Romo for a reason, and this week, here he is wearing a Kevlar vest. I get it, fractured rib, punctured lung, but a Kevlar vest?
I would.
Yeah. Whatever keeps you out on the field or whatever gets you out there so you're more comfortable, great.
I'm comfortable here.
Yeah.
Oh, you think it was a bit more of a mental thing, eh?
A bullet doesn't go through it, so you know what? Superman out there, Tony Romo, had a friggin'...
Please.
Hey, I am not a Romo fan, but I have to give, you got to give prompts to the guy.
It was nothing but field goals all game.
Yes, but you know what? He made some spectacular... I mean, I watched the game. He's got a young offensive line, young receivers. They couldn't even get it right on one of his plays on the 10-yard line.
And then he threw a pick.
But then he throws that incredible play on the run with a broken rib. Like we're not just saying it's a bruised rib. We're saying it's broken. So you got to give the guys. He's not my number one. The braid monster is, but you know.
We'll get to him.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want his flow either.
You don't want us. Okay, let's move on then to Michael Vick. I'm calling this one Baby Vick because look, the guy goes to bed with a bruise and he wakes up with a broken. Or no, goes to bed with a broken hand. Sorry, and wakes up with a bruise. And he made the comments after the game about him not getting the rushing. I can't even speak this morning. Rushing the passer calls. my buddy Jesse Palmer did the research, and even his dad approved. He's right up there on par with everybody else in the league as far as drawing the penalty. So do you think that Vic just should have kept his mouth shut, or do you think he had a right to sort of complain after the game?
Well, talking about your buddy Jesse Palmer,
yeah,
Jesse Palmer was saying how Michael Vick is one of those players that some of the refs overlook as being a running back.
More of a running back,
So,
yes.
you know, I have to say it's to the point where, yeah, the guy takes his shots. I think he takes more shots than any other quarterback in the NFL.
But maybe that's because of his offensive line, not necessarily.
Yeah, maybe get a new offensive line, but at the same time, it could be one of those things where the refs just overlook it, and you know, they just don't see that. You know, they don't notice like all the punishment that he is taking.
I'm sure he got hit in prison harder than he got hit out in the field.
That's a
I mean, there's some big boys in that place too.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I think he did exactly what he should have done. I think he has taken some hits that are a little bit beyond, and I think what you said is exactly how he's being looked at. And he's been taking some shots. I've watched the last couple of games. Yeah, there should be some 15-yarders thrown down on this guy. He's a quarterback. He's a running quarterback. He's somebody that you want to keep around. He's paid his dues. I'm a Vic fan. As much as I'll joke about stuff there, but he's turned himself, and he's could be a quarterback for years that will bring the NFL where it continuously needs to grow. And you know what? You have to protect those quarterbacks. Like you have to protect, the Tony Romos, even though you might not like him, or Tom Brady's, or the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. These are guys that you need to protect. And I do agree the offensive line needs to do a better job.
Okay, we move on to Believe. As someone who has been to several games at Ralph Dubb, I cannot believe it that the Buffalo Bills are 3-0 this season. And they beat your boy. He threw 4 picks.
Should give me a little attitude.
Sorry, I know that was very
flexy. That was a little.
Yeah. Okay. But the point is, my question about this game is, did the Buffalo Bills win this game, or did Tom Brady essentially throw it away? That's a real question. Strack, you look like you're deep in thought.
Patriots were up big early. Buffalo came back like they did the last weekend as well, and just one of those things where, hey, something had to give, I think, for Tom Brady. It's like he threw 1 pick already this season. You know, guy hasn't thrown more. I think he tied a record with throwing 4 picks.
Yeah.
It's great.
Quarterbacks have bad days, and I think Phillip Rivers on my fantasy team, he had a horrible day.
I think their defense was poor. For a Belichick team, their defense was not as good as it should have been. I think Brady, he throws that one. They're down, I think, on the 30-yard line or something. That's that slant play he loves to throw to the taller receiver, and he throws it, and the timing is off. It's taped. No, not the tip one. They pick it off right down by the 5-yard line. But that's such a timing play, and if it's off a fraction of a second, it's in their hands. And that's what he's done his whole life. So to Buffalo, good for you. You need something.
Well, then I guess the other side of the coin is Fitzpatrick the real deal? I mean, honestly, the guy was unreal last year for fantasy numbers. And now he's actually started the season with 369 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think, is this guy the real deal? I mean, would you want?
I think so. I think so, but it's one of those things where...
But then my point is, Struck, is what else is it going to take for you to know so? Because he just beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
I don't think you can put him up there with like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning,
Why not?
Guys like that, because those guys have rings. Those guys are proven. This guy's only been in, he was Trent Edwards' backup last season until he came in. He doesn't even have a full season under his belt yet, so you can't really say he's a real deal until he has a full season under his belt, and you can see what he does.
Not even that, not even a full season. It's years of consistency and being like, a lot of guys don't want to talk about Peyton Manning, but holy cow.
Okay, then let me ask you this, because we got like 10 seconds. If you're Chan Gailey, you didn't draft a quarterback this year. You've got Ryan Fitzpatrick. Do you look to draft a quarterback next? No.
I think you keep with him and you see what he can do for you.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills win 3 more games this year. That's it.
Okay, there you go. On that note, we have to take a break, but stay tuned. We get to play Who Am I next. I'm stunned.